What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today I bring you 18 more anime that I will be tier listing. Check out the prequel video for the other 18 anime I've seen so far. Before this video starts, I quickly want to bring up the subscriber analytics. 85.5 of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. That's a huge percentage, and a simple click of a button will really help me reach my goal of 100k subs, and also help my channel get more recognized. If you don't enjoy, you can always unsub, like, it's free. Come on. Enough of that though, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Starting off today's list, we've got Gate. And Gate to me was a good show to have on in the background. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either, and Rory was a great character, I thought. The fact is, the show was just average and oddly sexual, so I'm gonna be giving it a C. Next up is Love Tyrant. And I don't know what I was expecting when I started this, but it definitely wasn't what I got. This show was an absolute fever dream. Saying that, I still thought the show was actually really funny and enjoyable. I also liked how the show referenced so many other anime and video games. I think I'll give it a C just because some of the parts really did make me uncomfortable. Now, this is an interesting story. The Ones Within. I genuinely can't believe it didn't wrap up in one season, but I really hope we'll get a second one eventually. The character designs were honestly amazing, and the concept with streaming real-life game categories is such a cool idea. I'll give it a B, and a high B at that. Now we've got Assassination Classroom, and I'll be honest, majority of the class I couldn't remember their names because they just felt so irrelevant. In the end, I only remembered the name of Koro Sensei and Karma. I couldn't even remember the blue-haired kid's name, and he was like the main character, but that might have just been my bad. At the end, it felt like every character was actually important though. It was so emotional, and that second to last episode, I swear I had tears like the whole time. And I really liked how the blue-haired kid in the end basically took the similar role of Koro Sensei. This show was a solid S. This next show I saw so many things about on Instagram, and somehow I didn't know it was a music show. Your Lie in April was a huge letdown. I was expecting some sad drama shit, I don't even know, but it turned out to be a super boring story about this kid who can't hear his piano when he plays, and the girl he loves dies. I mean, sure it was sad, but it just didn't hit me. So with that, it's gonna be a D from me. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, to me was just a better Gate. Rimuru was OP, and the show overall was pretty enjoyable. My only problem was the slang was super cringy sometimes. So for that, I'm just gonna give it a B. It was a good show overall. Konosuba was one of the chillest shows. Sure, it had a lot of weird sexual type jokes, but honestly, it was really funny. I love the main characters a lot, and I really hope to see another season. Konosuba gets an A. This next show was honestly a complete surprise at how good it was. The Rising of the Shield Hero has an amazing story with some amazing characters, and I love how Naofumi was treated like garbage, but overcame all of those bitches. Literally bitch.
From now on, the king's name is Trash, and the first princess will be called Bitch!
Trash?
My name's not Bitch!
It is now, and it will be for the rest of your life. you don't like it, you can go ahead and die now. It's up to you.
By the way, Malty often uses the alternate name Mine when she's adventuring. How about that?
Yeah, guess bitch needs an adventurer name. How about whore?
He literally started off being like falsely accused of rape to the kingdom's goat. He's just a goat overall, and for that he's straight up just an S. Rising of the Shield Hero is an S. This next one, I don't understand the hype. No Game, No Life started off extremely boring and eventually it got a little better. I will say the animation style was, as well as the concept of the show, was very, very unique. But in the end, the show was just okay. You know, I'll give it a C. But it's gonna be a very low C at that, like it's barely making that C list. When watching Blue Exorcist, it felt like it could have been one of the big animes back in the Naruto time. Obviously, it wasn't good enough for that, but the story just gave me that type of vibe. I still really enjoyed the show, and I feel it deserves more recognition. It probably would have been an S for me, but I think I'm gonna give it an A just because the fights they weren't that amazing. They could have been better. This show is for sure underrated and maybe even overhated. It was an absolutely amazing show, and I've said this before, but it felt like the future diary of this generation. Obviously it's not exactly the same, but they have a lot of similarities, but with cool unique differences at the same time. I like the premise of the show, and you know, I'm a sucker for a bad anime girl, so S. This next one is another I heard a few times off Instagram, and that is Plastic Memories. I really wanted to watch this show because I saw Isla and thought she was really badass looking. It was an adorable little love story that had me tearing up through the end. The ending was beautiful, and although it didn't play out like I had hoped, it made it that much more emotional and touching. It's an easy S from me. Next, I watched Erased, and I was not excited. I had a little post-anime depression from Plastic Memories, but I continued anyways. Erased was honestly a solid show and had so many unexpected events. I was truly expecting the ending to turn out sad, but instead it was really great and even made me laugh a little. I'd give this show a B. It was pretty solid. Now we've got the 7 Deadly Sins, and it's another one of those stories that is so similar to others, but good with its own differences, that it's a top tier anime. The animations were pretty average as a whole, to be honest, but I'm still very intrigued and in love with this show. Also, Bon is the GOAT and nobody can tell me otherwise. It's an S. Who would have thought that Akame Gotkill was so damn good? The show was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, every character is basically dead, but still. I loved every second of it, and honestly, I think they should do a remake to show how the manga turned out. I don't read them, but I heard it's a completely different outcome, so I think that'd be really cool to see, like, the manga version. It's a top 5 show for me, so that means it's another S. And this S tier list is filling up. Deadman Wonderland was absolutely boring until the end. Up until the last few episodes, I had no interest and was forcing myself to push through it basically. I didn't want to do this show how I did Baccano in the last tier list video, because I feel like I shouldn't have even ranked it since I didn't watch through the whole thing, and I also should have ranked it an F since it's my opinion, not why people might like it. But back to Deadman Wonderland, I'm honestly surprised it didn't get a sequel. But then again, it just wasn't that good and maybe people agree with me. The characters sucked. There was a lot of bleeping. I don't know if it was because of where I watched it or if it was just like that. I do not know. It was really annoying though. And the list just goes on with negatives. I will say it was good enough for me to give it a D. It was almost an E, but I think it was good enough to at least get a D. Like, it wasn't as bad as Your Lie in April, that's for sure. I was more interested in Deadman Wonderland. Now this one's a long title. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? Honestly, it was just a shitty Konosuba ripoff that felt like it was made for toddlers. The only good character in the show was the Fire Girl, but not even good enough for me to remember her name, obviously. I will say, it had a decent opener, and the concept of what happened to the world is kinda interesting too. This one, I'm not making an exception, it's getting an E. It wasn't F bad, but it was E bad. And finally, the last show is Hunter x Hunter. What a good show, man. At first I wasn't sure about it, but once it got going, I loved it. I was a little sad when it was over, and based on the final episode, I'd say it's unlikely we'd get a sequel season, as well as the fact that it's been 5 years with no information whatsoever. But the ending was very satisfying, I thought, and I think it'd be really cool to have like a little spin-off of Killua's adventures. Let's just top this off by giving Hunter x Hunter an S. There are so many in the S tier this time, I can't believe it. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. Remember, as always, these are just my opinions and we are all obligated to our own thoughts. Maybe discuss in the comments nicely what you would have changed from my list and if you have any recommendations for the next one. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.